Howard Bender, a.k.a. Roto Buzz Guy, is here to help you get through Thursday on Getting Buzzed. And now, please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Howard Bender.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for tuning in here to Getting Buzzed. If you're watching on that Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, smash and like that subscribe button, please. It's how I pay for my world here in the old Getting Buzzed circle. Great show planned for you guys here today. Kind of need a little bit of a breather from fantasy football. Not a big breather from fantasy football, but just a little one. My guest today, we're going to talk some fantasy football because he is a commissioner of one of the most enjoyable leagues that I've gotten a chance to broadcast their draft. If you've heard me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. In honor of the MLB Playoffs taking place right now, Eric Hinske, 2002 American League Rookie of the Year. He's also a three-time World Series champion, twice as a player, once as a coach, and he's currently the Mets hitting coach right now. He's enjoying his offseason, or at least I hope he is. I know I've got to bring him in here and get rid of him in time for a little afternoon tea time that he's got, but nevertheless, Eric Hinske is going to join us. We're going to be talking about everything. We'll be talking about his fantasy football league, just so that you guys all know. It is a 12-team league made up of all MLB players, ex-players actually right now, guys that he's played with over the course of his time. The majority of them centered around when he was in Atlanta and playing with the Braves, because you've got Brian McCann, Chipper Jones, Tim Hudson, Matt Clement. These guys are all in the league right now, and it's $25,000, and it's a winner take all. There's a lot of trash talk going on there. So we're going to bring Eric in. We're going to talk about that, talk about some of his experiences back in the day as a player, and see what's going on there. I mean, I love the MLB playoffs because while, yes, I'm neck deep in the football community right now and the fantasy football Q&A that pops up, I'm sitting there. I'm either in the Fantasy Alarm Discord or I'm on social media answering questions, all of that stuff that happens. Sometimes I need a breather. Sometimes I need to relax. Sometimes I just want to watch a ball game and enjoy it. Now, I know you guys have seen me on the Better Sports Betting Show with Dan Servidinio, and I've made some picks here and there, but I got to tell you, as I sit back and relax in my chair here for just at least a moment or two, like that's what I love about the MLB playoffs. I'm not playing DFS. I might be throwing a couple of bets here and there, especially if I'm going to be on the betting show. I always play what I pick. So obviously yesterday, if you were there for the show, Wednesday's show, not so great. Dan Servidinio got the better of me on a couple of games, but I always bet what I play or what I say I'm going to play. And I make sure that, I'm in it with you guys every step of the way. But, sometimes you just want to step back. You just want to be a fan. You just want to sit and enjoy it. Now, I know that a lot of people out there, oh, baseball, it's so boring. It's so slow, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter to me. Like, that's how I decompress. I've gone to games. When I was living in New York, I used to head up to Yankee Stadium all the time. And I used to go just by myself, keep score, sit and relax in honor of Getting Buzzed. Maybe I have a special brownie or something before I go to the game. But I just like to sit, relax, watch the baseball. Like that's just it. I don't have, the funny thing here is, with watching the playoffs right now, I don't have a dog in this race. My Yankees aren't in it. They wouldn't even come close to being in it. And here we go. I mean, what we got right now, we got left the Astros and the Texas Rangers. It looks like those two teams are going to be squaring off for the American League Championship Series. We'll see what happens with this Braves-Phillies series. The winner of that's going to play the Diamondbacks. Unbelievable there. We see, and this is what I love about it. In all honesty, I would love an Arizona Texas Rangers World Series. I would love that. Phillies have had theirs recently. Braves have had theirs recently. The Astros obviously have had theirs recently. But that's what I'm enjoying so much about the baseball season right now. It's not all centrally focused on the Red Sox Yankees series. We're no longer looking at the Los Angeles Dodgers. If we could just get the Astros out of there right now, I think everybody. I don't think there's a single team out there that the world isn't going to root for, except for the Houston Astros. Shout out to all my Astros friends over there. But no, we just don't want to see anymore. So I'm super jacked up about this. I would very much love. I have a Braves winning the World Series ticket, but obviously, I mean, listen, I didn't bet the farm on it. I threw $20 on the Braves to win the World Series. It was a good bet. It wasn't a great bet. It wasn't a value bet. It wasn't like a bet where you're like, oh my God, if the Braves win, I'm going to end up with like $50,000. No, I threw $20 on the Braves to win the World Series because big Matt Olson fan. I'm already cashing my tickets on Matt Olson leading the majors and the National League in home runs. So I feel good about that. Now it's time to just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy it. I know that, everybody is, so crazed about football, but you baseball aficionados out there, I mean, hit me up. I mean, it's, at RotoBuzz Guy on the old Twitter machine if you want. And I miss talking baseball. I get so caught up in it during the regular season because obviously everybody's fantasy teams and the waiver wire and buy low and sell high. And, where am I at in the 50 leagues in which I play? And sometimes it becomes like a little bit of an abusive grind and you kind of lose your love for it. That's what with anything right there. I don't even know what that image is right there. Why are we looking at some DJ scene twerking here? Let's bring in my producer, Adam Bernard. Explain yourself here. Why am I looking at this image right now?
That is what you said. It's a grind, and that is Drake and Rihanna grinding on Drake. You said the season's a grind.
Yeah, I never want to see Rihanna and Drake grinding up on each other.
Okay. There you go.
Much better, much better. Oh my Lord. But that's the thing. And when you are a fantasy analyst or any kind of a sports analyst right there, you always have to make sure that you take a little something for yourself, right? That you don't lose your love for the game. And I do that with the MLB playoffs. I'm putting all the effort in for fantasy football and stuff like that, but I got to sit and enjoy it. Like football is such a relentless grind over the season. And there you go. Stephon Diggs head on the pylon, feeling about it. It really does become tough to enjoy sometimes when you spend your day. And I guess it's kind of, baseball, we know that there are games every single day and you can always watch a baseball game. And I know that everybody complains that the season's so long, but when you're sitting there and you're dealing with the football season and the fantasy football season at that, there's little to no time off when you think about it, because you've got the Thursday game. And from the Thursday, I could use a Red Bull right there. No doubt about it. You got the Thursday game. All right. So all of your lineups and everything like that, or the majority of them, need to be set or, figured out, before the Thursday happens. And then you've got Friday. And then Saturday, I'm working on the playbook all day. And I'm making sure that all you DFS folks out there are winning. And then Sunday, it's football all day long. And then on Monday, we come back to work and we're trying to sort through everything that went down. We're trying to figure out, do we have maneuvers to make for Monday Night Football? And then Monday Night Football happens. And then before you know it, once that game's over, you're already looking ahead to the following week. Tuesday and Wednesday, it's all about waivers. And it's just that 48-hour span. Sometimes it's just not enough. It's just not enough. So if you are a football analyst and you are feeling the pangs of the grind, do yourself a favor. Take a little something for yourself. Back off. It's okay. The world is out there. I know that, here's the thing, and I'll go with this because this is something that I've talked about before in the past, and I'm hoping that those of you out there, maybe it's the younger generation. Shout out to my boy Hutch Brown, who, the best fantasy analyst under 18 right now. This kid is unbelievable. So maybe it's the college kids who are looking to get into it, the high school kids who are looking to get into it, or maybe you're just trying to plod away. Like finding a way to succeed in such a super saturated industry is tough. And I guess like that's where the pressure comes. That's where the pressure comes to constantly produce content, to constantly answer all the questions that come your way, to be out front and center all over the place so that people don't forget you, because this is a tough industry to crack. It really is, because everybody's got a podcast and everybody's got a YouTube channel and everybody's got a TikTok account. All right. And everybody's trying to produce content and everybody's trying to find different ways to separate themselves. So listen, I'll tell you guys, I'm not going to say these are like the secrets to it, but this is the industry in which you've chosen. And I'll say it flat out. If you got into this industry in order to be a millionaire, to make a ton of money, it's not happening. It's just, there's not enough money in content. All right. And if you've worked for a major company, whether it's Fantasy Alarm, Roto World, Roto Wire, Fantrax, Fantasy Pros, they'll show you where the money is at. And it's not in content production. You can work at it and you can try, but one of the things, all right, I'll get to the money aspect in a sec. I'm just going to break it down for you nice and quick here, and we're just going to call it a day, right? Work ethic, the most important thing. Don't say no. Don't sit there and whine and cry. Make sure you have a second sport at least, because everybody and their grandma wants to write about football. Everybody does. I know football claims to be a 365-day-a-year thing. You talk to the fantasy football analysts that are sitting there in, I don't know, April after the draft, and then May, June, July, when there's nothing going on, then all of a sudden, and then they're trying to like create content out of thin air. That's where you get like all the engagement farming and stuff like that. Do yourself a favor, build that work ethic. Know that it is going to be a daily grind. You have to be dedicated. Dedication is one of the most important things. And when you are dedicated to something, your passion for it will show up. All right. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. And what have I been doing in this industry to get from point A to point B? When I first started off, I was writing this chintzy little blog on blogspot.com. Shout out to all you MySpace people who probably remember Blogspot too. Right. That's where it started. But I wrote every single day and sent my work to any managing editor at any website I could find. I used to be looking in the magazines for it, but now it's all online. And so what you want to do is you want to just sit there. You want to show your dedication. You want a job in this industry? Show me that you've worked every single day. Show me that you're willing to make the sacrifices. And that's the most important factor there. Dedication comes with a willingness to sacrifice time, your weekends, some social life. Like, I'm sorry, but if you think that you're going to be able to just take weekends off and be a fantasy football analyst or something like that, that's not going to happen, people. That's not even remotely going to happen. You're going to have to make sure that you go out there, on the regular. There are no holidays. You're not taking off time for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm doing on Thanksgiving? I'm watching 3 football games and I'm creating content around it. You're going to have a DFS playbook, things like that. Listen, my family, my friends, they've grown to understand that over the 20-year period that this is my life. This is what I do. If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, and what I'm talking about is, you don't go out to the bar on Saturday night to sit there and get hammered and watch college football all night and then expect to wake up on Sunday morning and create content for people, be there for people to answer questions and help them with their lineups on Sunday. No, you sacrifice that Saturday night fun. You'll find time throughout the days and the weeks and the months and the years. You'll find your different moments. Everybody knows when Howard takes off. There's a fish show in Colorado over Labor Day weekend. That's when I'm taking off. Madison Square Garden over the holidays. That's where I'm going to be at. All right. But I'm never leaving everybody out in the lurch. And I'm always making sure that I'm there for you as often as you need it. So that sacrifice is what you want. You also, as I just said, you need an acceptance. that you're never going to be paid what you're worth. You're going to work long hours. You're going to do a whole mess of shit, and you're not going to be paid for as much work as you're doing. And listen, again, if that's your goal, if your goal is to be that millionaire from creating content, get out. Get out now. Leave it to somebody else who understands that that's another one of those sacrifices that you have to make. Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Perhaps. But only the ones with the work ethic, the dedication, the willingness to sacrifice, those are the people who find that pot of gold, not the people who are in there half-assing it on the regular basis. And then just one final note here, and then I'll leave this be. Stop pissing and moaning about the grind on the internet. All right. I'm doing this show here and I'm explaining the grind because I'm actually hoping that plenty of fantasy analysts or aspiring fantasy analysts are actually watching right now. Okay. Stop crying on the internet about how much you work. If you're whining about how much you work on the internet, you're obviously not working hard enough, because I don't have time to piss and moan about the grind on the internet. I'm not sitting there tweeting being like, oh man, it's week 6 and I'm so tired right now. No, you know what? When I want to piss and moan about being tired, I do it privately. My wife is annoyed by it, but whatever. That's what you do. So if you want to succeed in this industry, in this fantasy world that we live in, all right, proper work ethic, strong dedication, willingness to make sacrifices, accept that you're gonna look for that pot of gold down the way. You're gonna seek it out, all right, and then just stop whining about it. Just don't, because it's no good. It's no bueno. All right, want to move on out of here and bring in my guest, because I want to have a little bit of fun with this one here. I love this guy. I really do. We met through SiriusXM and through fantasy football. He is, all right, the current hitting coach for the New York Mets. He is a 3-time World Series champion, twice as a player, once as a coach. A historic moment there with the Cubs. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it in from my man Eric Hinske. Look at you handsome son of a bitch, you.
What's up, Howard? How are you, man?
I'm doing real well, Eric. How about yourself?
Great. Enjoying the off season, getting home to the family now, and everything's going really well here.
Family? Are you golfing with the family? You told me you had a tee time today, buddy. What are you talking about?
I do. 11:20 tee off. I do not golf with my wife. She knows it's strictly me and the boys. It's time to get away.
I love it. All right. Well, let's kind of share with everybody here how you and I actually met. This is actually the first time you and I are talking face to face here. We always do these segments over the radio. You're a handsome son of a bitch. I almost wore that same shirt too. I'm so glad
golf
I did.
Shirt, man. I'm going golfing after this. So this is the first time we've ever talked in person. I have seen you on the internet as well, but maybe you've seen me in the dugout somewhere. But this is great, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm enjoying already.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this is what I love doing this show, because this show, to me, this is the fun show. This isn't the show where I'm like, trying for the hard hitting journalism. I'm not sitting here trying to do something that doesn't need to be done. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you a little bit. I want my audience to get to know you a little bit here. So how you and I met, we did this. This all came through SiriusXM.
Yeah.
Because you are the commissioner of one of the coolest fantasy football leagues that's around right now. So do you guys have an official name for it? Because every time we try to name your league, we call it the MLB All-Star Fantasy Football Draft, the MLB Player Fantasy Football Draft. Is there like an actual league name for you guys?
Yeah, it's called I Got 25K in My Ashtray.
Well, that answers why I didn't ever got invited, because I don't got shit in my ashtray like that. All right, so 25K, it's a 12-team league, and I was kind of filling in everybody. I mean, Chipper Jones, Tim Hudson, Matt Clement, Dan Ugla. God, rattle them off. Who am I? I don't want to miss anybody here.
Okay, let's go. Got to get there, man. You put me on the spot here.
Really? You don't know your league mate? You trash talk these guys on the regular, and now you don't even know who they are.
Well, how many leagues are we in? I'm in 5 leagues or something. So Jeff Jenkins, Dan Ugla, Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, Derek Lowe, Tim Hudson, David Wright, Michael Kadire, Brad Lidge, Matt Clement, and Ben Sheets.
Okay.
There they are.
So
Yes.
there you go. How many of those guys are Braves, or did you meet through when you played for the Braves? The majority of them.
Yeah, correct. So I was 10, 11, and 12. I was with Atlanta. So it was Ugla, Chipper, McCann, Derek Lowe, Tim Hudson. Then Ben Sheets was there as well. And then, we were in the AL East. So Kadire was with the Mets at the time, I believe. And we got David Wright in because we were playing him a lot. Clement, I knew from playing with him in Boston in 06 and 07. And Jeff Jenkins had me in a Brewer league from earlier in my career. So, I just got the dudes that I know are passionate about it, that care, that will, always be involved, because you don't want to play with someone that's not setting their lineups or forgetting to do shit like that. So, it was an idea and it took off, and this is the OG, man. These guys have been the same. Nobody's left, and it's a blast, dude. We have a great time with it.
How many years have you guys been together doing this now?
So what is that? 13. I think it started in 2010 and now it's 23. So this 14th year, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing better than having a league with that kind of longevity. Like, there's nothing better than that. That's like the classic home league.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody balked at the $25K entrance fee here. I mean, it's a winner take all, right? Or do you pay out top three?
I pay out top three. Yeah, and then I'll pay high points per week, and I also pay a high point total for the season. So at least, if you have a bad team, you still have a shot to get paid a little bit. Like Chipper, he started the year 0-8. He started the year 0-8, and I played him this week, and he had DJ Moore going on Thursday and Travis Etienne going on Sunday morning. So I was losing like 110-0 before I even started. And I jumped. I scored about 180 points, but he scored 256 or something. So it was like, good for him. He sent me and Brian McCann text saying, "You don't want this smoke. I'm 0-8, but I shoved it up your ass."
That's the funny thing. So I played Jim Bowden in the SiriusXM host league. I think it was like week 2 or week 3. And I beat him by like 150 points. I mean, his team put up like nothing. I was in the 200s. He didn't even crack 100 points. I played him this past week, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And then he had Josh Allen, Travis Etienne. And then, he had Dalton Kincaid, who, sucked and didn't produce anything. But he sent me a text like that morning, like right after the London game. I was down 104-0.
I know. And I'm sure he was talking smack. He was coming at you, right?
Jim. Come on. Yeah. How much you've known Jim now for a while. You knew him before, we were covering the league, right?
I did, yeah. Not very well, just in passing, but being in baseball, obviously he was the GM for how many decades, right? Like he's been famous for a long time. But I was thinking maybe he would screw up because the Cowboys got their asses kicked so bad this last weekend.
Dude, have you ever heard Jim come back to a show after the Cowboys lose? It is so somber, so so whiny, so crying. It was unbelievable. This past Monday was unbelievable. How about this? Wait, I got a great fact I want to share with you, because I'm sure you deal with Cowboys fans all the time too, don't you?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. And they're garbage, aren't they? They're hot trash.
They are.
They're hot
I
trash.
get in trouble on the internet, man.
Well, I'll say every Cowboys fan out there, you all know who you are. You're all hot trash. I'm not like Stephen A. Smith just shooting videos of laughing at you guys, but how about this one here? Since the start of last year, Eric, teams are 2-18 straight up the week after facing the 49ers.
Oh my gosh. They're a well-oiled machine. Offense, defense, special team. I don't know who's going to beat them. It seems like they're. You tell me who's going to beat them. I have no idea.
I don't care who beats them. I just want to put all my money in on the Chargers this week against the Cowboys on Monday night.
Heck yeah! All right, I'm with you. Let's go.
All right, so one of the things that you and I have talked about with regard to fantasy football, and you've heard me preach this on the Fantasy Alarm show, and that's not to be a homer. Now, Eric, can we talk about the number of Packers who are on your current roster right now? So before we get to that, I got to ask you this. So you grow up in Wisconsin, right? And you're a professional athlete now. So obviously when you were growing up, athletics were like huge for you. I'm sure you played like some high school football there also. Or did you just stick to baseball?
No, all three, man. Football, basketball, baseball. I tried to do every one that I could. I feel like it made you a better athlete. I always preach that to my kids and kids that are playing with them. Do it all, man. Become a better athlete. You don't have to specialize in one. Although now, like, I have daughters that are in club soccer, and once you get in club sports, you don't have time for anything else. Like it really dominates. I mean, they're playing league games I'm in Phoenix, and they're playing league games in San Diego, LA. They'll go to Dallas. They'll go to Utah. It's crazy. You got to have money to do it, and it's a full-time job. So I know baseball's the same way. I'm sure football's getting that way, but I think when you're growing up, you start in flag football. You play Cal Ripken baseball, and then you play fast break basketball. Do it all so you can just make yourself a better athlete. You balance all the skills, everything you got. So I'm a big proponent of that. Just don't specialize in one when you're young, and just keep going. So that's what I did, and I loved it. I love playing football. I was a 225-pound tailback, standing in the I formation, jab stepping and going in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So it was great.
You're like one of those like internet videos of like the 30-year-old who's playing against peewee football kids, right? You're just like running through them. What's that like? I mean, pressure. I mean, it's gotta be a ton of pressure. And I mean, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids, 2 daughters, 16 and 13. My son's almost 10.
Okay. So you understand the pressures and the grind of, growing up and dealing with that. What is that like growing up a burgeoning professional athlete? You're loving playing football, you're playing tailback, and you're like in the shadow of Green Bay. That's a big deal. I mean, when we were growing up, I guess what the Favre was the big guy over there. I don't even remember who the quarterback was before Brett Favre in Green Bay, but I can't imagine just being like so near and wrapped up in such a historic franchise that the pressure for a kid growing up as an athlete there has got to be huge.
Come on, Don Mikowski, the Magic Man. You know that.
Don Mikowski.
He goes down. Favre comes in a game against Cincinnati and throws a game-winning touchdown, and then he's the quarterback for the next 20 years. That's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, when you grow up in Wisconsin, it's the Packers. That's it. And like if you're at some party or some middle school party, high school party, like everyone says, how about them Packers? And that's how you start the conversation. So for me though, my family, we love the Packers. We're always big Packer fans, but baseball was my dad and my grandfather. They were huge into baseball. My dad played Division III college baseball. And then I grew up going to beer league baseball games my whole life. So it was always baseball for me. I was trying to get a scholarship and then get drafted and go play in the big leagues. So I ended up going to the University of Arkansas late, got a ride to go there. And it really was a stepping stone for me to, start my career. So I loved it. It was great.
Let me switch it up for you there, Eric. There you go. There you go. Is that better? Does that work for you?
Baby. Woo pig suey.
One of Fantasy Alarm's finest, Britt Flynn, actually lives down in Arkansas.
Does she?
Her and her husband, huge Hogs fans. So is Treylon Burks on your team?
No Treylon Burks. I don't love that passing off. I do have some D-Hop. He's doing pretty well. Last week was good.
Yeah, last week was okay. It was all right. Not great. So, all right. So we'll go back to it. So talk to me about, well, you know what? Actually, no, see, I love this. I love being able to just run the interview and just do what I want to do and talk about what I want to do. I want to talk about your Packers here for a quick second. Can we do that?
Yeah, sure.
So get this. So Monday night, right? A girl calls up the Fantasy Alarm show and she's like, I'm down by 6. I've got Luke Musgrave.
Yeah.
My husband says that I should start AJ Dillon, but I also have Romeo Doubs. Who should I start?
I would have started Doubs.
That's what we said.
What do you have? 1 for 4?
What the hell was that?
It was a great matchup against that corner, that guy, right? Like, isn't he one of the worst in the game?
You were watching the game. You tell me why in the world, like what's the thought process between taking a guy who's averaging 10 targets per game and is helping you move the chains constantly, and you've got this soft matchup against the Raiders? What's the thought process here? Speaking as a former professional, athlete and football player and everything like that, Eric, you need to sort this out for me because my mind is like,
Well, for me, it looked like they were just trying to establish the run from Jump Street. Like, I mean, they started with what 6 consecutive runs at AJ Dillon, and they weren't really trying to stretch the field at all. I think they were trying to control the clock and think they could beat them. But for me, they have so many offensive line problems. They can't, like Max Crosby was all over Love all game long and just disrupting. So until they fix that O-line and get the trenches right, I think they're going to struggle. You know, I like Jordan Love as much as the next guy. I'm hoping he's great, but you know, that was a pretty deep look into what a quarterback can do with no time. So I don't know. AJ Dillon doesn't look great. He's not getting a lot of yards per carry. They need Aaron Jones back, and Christian Watson's got to get healthy. So hopefully this bye week really helps out. And, you know, I mean, I want him to be great, but, you know, you jumped me last year for trading Ezekiel Elliott for AJ Dillon. So I was like, you know what? I'm staying off. I had Jordan Love in 2 leagues as my backup behind Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. So I actually started Jordan Love last week over Joe Burrow. So that was my mistake of the year. But I had Jamar Chase too, and he scored 70 in my league. So I won. I killed it.
You feel better about that, right?
I feel better about that. I would have taken the 38 that Burrow gave me instead of the 4 for Love, you know? Yeah.
I think I wasn't. Who did I sit? Oh, I had Justin Herbert on a bye week, and I had either Love or Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
I went Josh Dobbs. I'm sorry about, your Packers, man. It's, you know what? You can't win every year. You just can't do it.
No.
Join me as a hapless Jets fan and understand that it's just it's
man,
brutal.
like everybody that took Garrett Wilson when Rodgers went down in the first 4 plays, Wilson's he's such a talent, and you still got to start him, but it's like, he can't get him the ball. He gets all the targets, but they can't get him the ball. Now Breece Hall is going off. So I got one share of Breece Hall, and he dropped 45 for me last week. So that was great.
Do you want to, if you want to trade in your Packers fandom for Jets fandom, I can make some room for you here on the bandwagon if you want.
I think you guys are hurting much more than I am.
Yeah. Right. So well, it builds character. It builds character as a
makes
fan.
You better. Makes you a better person.
Dude, look at you. Listen, 2002 Rookie of the Year in the American League when you're with Toronto. You've won the World Series twice as a player and once as a coach. You don't know failure like I know failure, Eric.
Yeah. When you play a baseball career for 12 years, there's some ups and downs, and you get humbled, and it makes you a better person. So, you can't get high and low. You got to try to stay somewhere in the middle and be the same dude. That's for sure.
Well, I gotta ask you about that for a sec, because you won the World Series with the Yankees, my Yankees. Thank you very much. Thank you, Eric Hinske. I appreciate you. But then you won it with the Red Sox as a player. Right. So,
yes.
So what's that like from a player standpoint? Like, I remember my resentment of watching Wade Boggs riding that horse in in Yankee Stadium in the outfield. The stink of Johnny Damon helping us as a Yankees fan it always grinds my gears. What's that like as a player? Being among that rivalry, that New York-Boston rivalry, I know it's softened when the Red Sox first won their first World Series, but it's still pretty tremendous moment there.
Yeah, the Yankee-Red Sox rivalry is huge. As players, it's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be nuts. There's going to be fights in the stands, especially when I was there. 06 and 07 in Boston, and then I was 09 in New York. It was kind of, the late 90s was the heyday, I think, with, Jeter, Posada, the young days of those guys. But, I was traded over to the Yankees in 09. Jeter, Posada still there. Mariano, Pettit, all those guys still there, the big boys. So I think, the grand scape of it. It's interesting to be a part of when you're there. And I think in the regular season, when you are playing the Red Sox and you're a Yankee, you're ready for the series to be over as quick as possible because it is so intense. But then when it's over, you're like, man, I can't wait to play those guys again. It's what you live for, man. You need that fire. You want to be there when the lights are on, the big city, the bright lights. And I loved it. I thought it was great. When there's no expectations, why do you want to play? You know what I'm saying? Expectations are great, and let's go. That's what I think.
What was the worst thing anybody ever called you in that rivalry? Come on.
Gosh. I don't think I can say all that on air. They just hate you. Honestly, they hate each other so much. They say whatever. Your mom, your wife, your kids, they're going after everybody. So, you just, put your blinders on and go up there, take a breath, have your at bat, go play defense and win every inning. That's what we try to do.
Now, fast forward from World Series champions in that rivalry on both sides to probably one of the most historic wins to end any kind of a curse or anything like that. The Cubs, dude. I mean, that must have been ridiculous. Like, give me the overview of just how amazing that was. Just knowing that you were part of bringing a championship to the North Side again.
Yeah, and I kind of grew up a Cubs fan too. My grandpa and my dad. We used to, 3 hours north. We grew up in Chicago. We'd drive down and see the Torco sign, and Waveland. It was a big part of my life, and I was a big Ryan Sandberg fan and Rick Sutcliffe, and then when you get with that organization, you meet the dudes, and they're in there, and it's pretty surreal. But as a coach there, I was there for 4 years, and 15, 16, 17, we went championship series, World Series, championship series, and it was a ride, man, and we got down 3-1 to Cleveland in the World Series. And I remember Anthony Rizzo, like, having Rocky movies playing in the clubhouse saying, "We ain't going down. We ain't going down." Like it was us against the world. And these dudes slayed the dragon, man. I mean, it was 108 years and we broke the curse. And I honestly thought it was going to be a lot of people like rioting and dying, but it was grown men crying. That's what it was. All over the place. There was 8 million people in Grand Park for the parade, and people were just bawling their eyes out. And it's a generational thing, and lucky to be a part of, man. I mean, I'm a kid from Wisconsin that grew up in a small town and 3 World Series titles. And now I'm talking to Howard Bender. Come on, man, let's go.
Oh, yeah, right. The pinnacle of your career right here, getting buzzed. Oh my God. Do you wear, obviously you're golfing, so you're not going to wear it now, but do you wear one of your World Series rings at all? Do you wear them when you're going out?
If we go to some kind of charity event, I might, but honestly, they're so big, and I keep them in a safe, because if I leave them out, well, we just sold our house and we're renting a house and building another one. So, but the one I just sold, I used to display them in my den. And then I was thinking, what if somebody breaks in here and steals all 3? I got to keep them in the safe. So that's where they are, in the safe. And if somebody wants to see them, I'll take them out. I kind of keep them closed down, but when you take them out, you really get the chills, and that you did something cool, for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Man, when I was growing up, my grandma, she used to take her ring and she used to turn it around. She used to hit me on the top of the head when I was being a smartass. I can't imagine you doing that to any of your kids with a World Series ring. It's like, oh, sorry.
It knocks somebody out.
Right now I'm concussed. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that. Well, Eric, man, it's such a great time having you here. Now, one of the things that I always like to do with my guests is I like to play a little game with them. Very harmless, easy going. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So you being a well-traveled ball player, you played for 7 major league teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to test your knowledge now of the cities in which you played. All right. I've got 7 questions for 7 cities. You're going to have to tell me which is which as we play Where in the World?
Tell me, where in the world is
Eric Hinske?
See, we're all about the production value here, man.
I like it. Very nice. Yes.
All about the production value. All right. You score points for correct answers, and you win a mythical prize at the very end of it. So here you go, Eric. Question number 1. This place is nicknamed the City of Bridges.
Pittsburgh.
Correct.
Yes.
Good job.
All right.
Good job. We don't have like a bell or anything like that now. I'll just go ding, 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 ding. All right. Eric, question number 2. The Cuban sandwich was invented here.
The Cuban sandwich was invented in Miami, wasn't it? Where?
Did you play for the Marlins?
No, I know. Oh, these are cities that I all played in. Okay, let me see.
Oh, come on.
Tampa Bay.
There it is.
All right, there you go. Yeah. Hey, it was the right state. Come on.
See, it's a game, Eric. It's not supposed to be hard. This is like, it's like playing Chutes and Ladders with your kids. Maybe the Family Feud. I don't know. It's easy. This city is the largest state capital by population.
Let's go with Atlanta. I have no idea.
Sorry, Eric. Where are you located right now?
Phoenix.
There you go, buddy.
Oh yeah, I played for the Diamondbacks. That's right.
Who just beat the snot out of the Dodgers. And I got to tell you, man,
Yes.
I kind of like that. I really do.
Happy for those guys for sure.
I'm all about you got to put them on hold. Here we go. Fastest baseball game was played here, and it only took 32 minutes to play it.
Fastest baseball game was played here. 32 minutes. Where did I play? Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Pittsburgh, New York, Atlanta, Arizona. Let's go with Boston. I have no idea. These are supposed to be easy, man.
That is easy, right? The fastest game was played in Atlanta, buddy. Come on.
It was when?
I don't know, 1908. I don't know. Right after they moved from Milwaukee to Atlanta. How about that?
There you go. All right.
You don't remember that? Come on. You should have been a Braves fan from growing up back in the days. Didn't you watch Happy Days? Those guys were all Milwaukee Brewers fans.
They were. That's true. Yes.
This city covers 391 square miles.
Oh my gosh. Why are you asking me these questions, man? I thought we were talking about football.
I'm trying to have a little fun here, my man.
391
just
square
testing your
miles.
city knowledge here, you know?
Well, New York. Is it New York?
No, it's tiny. New York, small. Come on.
Awesome.
Toronto.
Toronto's huge, isn't it?
It is. 391 square miles. That's big.
That is big. You're right. I love Toronto. It's a great city.
All right, I'm going to fake you out with this one here. Really? Wait. Tell me about Toronto here, because I have a good friend of mine who actually said that growing up in Toronto was like having a huge house party and being locked in your basement.
No. I mean, when I lived there, I loved it. I mean, you got Bay and Bloor, everything's there, man. The best restaurants in the world. Everything's fun up there. Toronto, Canadians do it right, for sure.
Canadians do it right.
Yes.
I'll see. All my fantasy alarm hockey guys are going to be super excited that you just said that. They're going to be like, pull that audio, Bender. Pull it.
Yes.
All right, fake out here. Here we go. The first subway system was built in this city.
So it's not New York.
See, that's why it's a fake out.
So then it's what, Boston?
There it is.
Yes.
Look at you.
All right, man.
Look at you. And then, of course, the final question here, Eric, I think you already know the answer based off of the answers you've given already. But the ice cream cone and Eggs Benedict, both invented in this city.
Well, who didn't I go with yet? New York.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't even keep track of the score there. I know that you got more wrong than you did right, though. So
Yeah, I was terrible.
I can't give you a prize. The only thing I can give you is my love, my gratitude, and my respect for being here on the greatest show on the internet, of course.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for having me. This was great.
Well, good luck. Are you playing with a foursome here? You got a little action going on the links today?
For sure. So I'm a member at Estancia Club here, which is a really nice course, and it's overseed right now. So it's closed till October 31st. So we get reciprocals at different clubs. So I'm playing with one of the club pros and two of my guys I always golf with. They're no athletes, just a mortgage guy and a real estate dude. I'm gonna get in the wallet. I'm gonna get in the pockets right now. Yeah, it'll be fun.
What's your handicap?
I'm a 6.
Okay.
But one's a scratch, one's a 2, so I get 3 strokes aside. So that's where I live.
I'm a monster at putt. So you know what? Maybe one day you and I will get to go find a nice course with a good windmill, maybe an erupting volcano or something like that.
Yeah, sounds great. Let's go, man. We need to meet in person. We haven't yet. Now we're on the internet together. Now next step is we meet in person one day.
There you go. You're
All right.
on. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right, man.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, thank you so much again for joining us here, man. Really appreciate you taking the time, and go crush it at golf now.
All right. Thanks, Howard.
All right. Eric Hinske, everybody. 2002 American League Rookie of the Year, 3-time World Series champion, played for 7 different teams. This guy has done it all. Oh, I love having good people on like that. That stuff like that just always makes me smile. That's why I do this show. For those of you out there who are looking for, lineups and stuff like that, that's what we'll do. That's what Alarm Fantasy Football is for. And, right after this show, you'll be able to go and catch me and Coop doing that. But what I love bringing a much different element to this show. I mean, I love being able to talk, does Eric want to talk about this past baseball season? No, he doesn't. We want to talk about fantasy football. We want to talk about the fun stuff in life. I want to talk about what was like good stuff there. Very, very cool to have him here. And thank you so much again, Eric Hinske. And thank you to all of you guys for tuning in here to watch. Now, as we always like to close out a good old fashioned episode of Getting Buzzed, our final 5. And here you go. The 5 most annoying people to sit next to at a game. And I'm going to qualify this that it's not just next to, they could be right behind you. They could be right in front of you. Either way, this person is the most annoying person. We'll start off at number 5. People who start the wave. Come on, man. Like, it's done. It's over. It's a passing fade. Sitting there trying to get your section all riled up so that everybody can go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, is that fun? No. Do I want to do that at a ball game? No, I don't. Do I want to do it at a hockey game? No, I don't. So stop it already. The wave, it's old. It's done. We don't need it anymore. Number 4. The heckler. Oh my God. The heckler. Listen, maybe he's funny the first few times he does it, right? Gets a couple of laughs. Then all of a sudden, the dude won't shut up, right? Like, obviously, he's like screaming at this guy's, like Eric said, at his mom, at his kids, at his wife, everything about it, right? Just over and over and over again. First couple of times, okay, fine. Yeah, yell at the guy. Oh, he's a bum. He's a bum. That was like my grandpa sitting on the couch, or in his lazy boy watching TV. Everybody was a bum, right? But when the heckler just sits there at the ball game and is just so relentless and then thinks he's still being funny by doing it later on in the game, it's garbage. I don't know how many times I've had to I'll buy you a beer if you just shut the hell up right now. Like, I've done that. So that's number 4. Number 3, it's the know-it-all. Like, whether he's mansplaining everything to his friend or his significant other throughout the game, or he's just telling the whole section everything that he knows about the team and the players. This dude is so freaking annoying. Dude, let me just watch the game here. I don't need you to start quoting stats for me. And I don't need you to hear, sit here and listen to you like mansplaining how to play the game. Like, it's one thing if you're like, hey, you've never been to a hockey game and let me show you, like, that's the blue line and that's offsides and whatever. But dude, the entire time like that, and then just being like, I know everything about this franchise. So gross. So disgusting. It just drives me insane right now. What am I on? I'm on number 2 already. Number 2. It's the drunk idiot. The drunk idiot who also sometimes starts fights. Nobody wants to be that guy. Right? And you're doing it in a building with 17,000 people. Have a good time, but be able to walk, form sentences. Don't be a knucklehead. Don't throw up on yourself. Oh my God. Anybody ever see that video that circulated on Twitter of just the big dude who just and just started vomiting all over himself? Can you imagine? Imagine being there with your kids, right? You imagine paying for a family of 4 or 5 to go to a freaking ball game these days, and to have that moron there, or to have that moron start a fight. That's just kills me. And then the most annoying person at the ball game. Yeah, there it is. It is the person who talks incessantly about irrelevant things during the game. Listen, I don't care about your DIY drywall project at home. I don't care about your kid's birthday party. I don't care why you and your neighbor don't get along because of political opinions. Like, shut the hell up. Take the conversation up to the bar somewhere and let me actually watch the game. It drives me nuts. This is one of my pet peeves about concerts as well. And I've gone through that before, the whole thing. Sitting there at a show and somebody's just chomping away, chomp, 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 chomp. They can't shut up. I'm always like, I turn around and I'm like, hey, why don't you save it for after the show when you've got something to talk about at the bar? You don't need to be talking incessantly about anything, right? If you're with a friend that you haven't seen, right, in a while, and you guys are taking in a ball game or whatever, if you want to catch up with him, go to the concourse, go buy him a beer, right? Or go stand in the back somewhere where nobody gives a crap. But to sit there in your seats and just be incessantly talking. I didn't buy a ticket to listen to your idiotic stories. I paid a ticket to go watch the game. So there you go. The final five, the five most annoying people: the wave starters, the heckler, the know-it-all, the drunk idiot, and then just the chatterboxes, the chompers. Absolutely driving me insane. That's going to do it for us here on Getting Buzzed. Big thank you to everybody again for hitting that like and subscribe button on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. I really appreciate everything that you guys do as far as supporting me in this venture. I'm sorry if I'm not like talking sports or giving you lineup advice right now. There's plenty of time for that. Like I said, when it comes to the daily grind as a fantasy analyst, sometimes you just got to take a little something for yourself. And that's what this show is for me. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much to my producer, Adam Bernard. Huge, huge, huge thank you to Eric Hinske for joining me here on Getting Buzzed. I'm Howard Bender, Fantasy Alarm. Catch you next time.